one.
You are watching Sipping Off the Cuff on TequilaAficionado.com. I'm Alex Perez.
I am Mike Morales in San Antonio. Alex, we have a startup brand this evening. And I have an interesting story about how I met these guys, this gentleman. It's Tequila Cabresto.
Cabresto.
Cabresto. Not to be confused with Cabrito. Remember Tequila Cabron? Remember that old tequila?
I wish I would have bought a bottle of that.
Yeah, because the name doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they took it off the shelves.
Yeah, well, I guess it was too offensive or something, but I think it was really cool, for a while. Um, we were talking off camera, Alex, that this tequila comes out of distillery 1509, and I'm not even sure what the name of it is, but I have had three different tequilas from this same distillery, and each of these blancos has a different flavor profile because, yes, Tequila Embajador.
Yeah.
And Embajador tequila, which you and I tasted last year on our Sipping Off the Cuff, and they actually you can see that review on our website. They also were involved with Salt Liquor Lime, the movie. And anyway, Alma Tequila, which we'll be getting to in a future podcast, uh, also comes out of the same distillery. And each one of these uses their own estate agave that belongs to the family. So this has got an interesting story. It's a startup brand. They're only in two different states right now, Michigan, primarily Detroit, and in Houston. And there's a young gentleman who I met, who I contacted about Cabresto. He drove up from Houston to drop these bottles off to me at the water park where we're spending the afternoon with, the kids. And I learned a lot from this young man who is just learning to, he's got a passion for it. I guess he's a friend of the family's. And they are trying to solidify the Houston market and eventually all of Texas, which is, of course, the second largest consumer of tequila behind California. And they're going to grow this brand really, really small, but it is a family-owned agave, as we read. They sent us it started with a tire shop in Detroit. Don Silverio and Lopez.
Yeah, well, I guess he grew up watching his dad cultivate agave.
Yeah,
Neat.
and so his dream was to eventually have his own farm. And what he did was he immigrated to the U.S. in 1981, opened up a tire shop, and from the profits of the tire shop, continued to buy more and more land and cultivate more and more agave. And this is what we have in fact, they sent us an email. I'm going to read you the email because I thought it was pretty interesting because they were just growing agave, but it had always been like a closet dream for them, for Silverio to have his own tequila.
Yeah.
So what he did was he goes, Silverio planted the first parcel of land in 2000, which would be the first tequila in 2006. In 2006, our first agave was ready, but the market of agave was terrible. Therefore, Silverio decided to fulfill his lifelong dream and start his own tequila company with his own agave plant. And in 2008, they imported their first shipment to Michigan. And I've kind of been watching this brand for a little while. They've been on my radar, but they're small. They're a fairly young startup. They're fierce Michiganders. I mean, they love. I mean, there's only one other tequila that I know of out of Michigan, and it's actually Blue Nectar. Blue Nectar. Their owners there are in Detroit as well, I think. So this is estate grown, bottled, and they're using their own agave. So I know you've already dove in while I told the story, but
I wet my whistle while you were reading.
holy cow, jeez,
It's got a neat nose to this.
wow,
Really pure.
Smells green. Smells green. Like it doesn't smell like baked agave. It smells like fresh cut agave to me.
Yeah, it's like a green pepper. Like a vegetable.
Yeah, yeah, vegetal, very vegetal.
So
It,
real clean, real fresh.
yeah, it's not, the legs are runny, so it's not, it doesn't seem to me that they're putting a lot of glycerin except for what naturally occurs in distillation. Mm, mm, mm,
Wow.
mm. Oh yeah.
Full on the palate.
Whoa, nice long finish too. Whoa.
Now I really get the baked agave in the palate,
Okay.
and just a real clean Blanco.
You
Really,
know,
it's really raw to me.
yeah, okay. That's a great descriptor because that's kind of what I couldn't, I said it tasted to me it tasted wild. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, wild, raw.
wild, raw, all those descriptors that
Not that it's not
huele a campo. You know what I mean? It's like you could smell the
like the way it's supposed to be.
right. It's really, really old school.
Right.
It's of course it comes from that area of the highlands, but that area has its own microclimate and its own flavor profiles for the agave. I'm not sure what they're doing as far as cultivating. We haven't really had a chance to talk to Silverio or any of the partners at length, but it could very possibly be close to almost an organic type of tequila with, without the seal, without calling it organic because they really can't, but it's about as close as to organic as you can get without having a USDA seal on it. I mean, this is really kind of it's different. Like I say, compared to Embajador, it's Embajador is a bit more refined in my opinion because that is their flagship tequila. But this is a nice wild raw
Wild, yeah.
wild raw tequila,
It's unrefined.
but not in a bad way.
Exactly. It's just it's bold. It's good, bold. It's
Right.
it's,
I've heard somebody. I've heard.
it's Mexican country.
Yeah, it's the way tequila is actually supposed to taste, folks. This is the way it's supposed to taste. All right. Um, and it's not offensive. It's not to where it's burning your throat. It's got a nice agave punch to it. It's got a beefy, bold flavor. Um,
I'm gonna try it in a margarita.
oh, it'll shine through in any cocktail. The profile is such that you're not going to lose it.
No.
And it's a regular it's an 80 proof tequila. Um, I don't know much more about the process as far as the distillation and all that. It's a double distilled, of course, but um, I I really, really like what they're doing with their agave. If this is any indication of how their agave is and how much care they're taking care with it, um, if if they just grow this brand, in a nice, careful way, you're gonna if you're out in the Houston area, find it. If you're in Detroit, find it. It's very probably very reasonably priced at this
Yeah, I was
point.
gonna ask you if you know what the price point is.
I don't know what their price point is because I don't I they haven't even come to San Antonio yet. That's how that if the when the guy brought this to me, he was making a special trip because he was trying to get the lay of the land, to see where he should be placed. My understanding is that they're at 120 128 venues, probably between Texas and Michigan, and I think this would do really, really well in San Antonio.
This would be a great well tequila.
I think so. If the pricing is right,
Yeah. 100%
um,
agave, good well go-to tequila.
it might even be. You know what though, Alex? I think it might even be too strong for a well tequila.
You think
Be,
so?
yeah, because of the boldness. But what do I know?
Well, we got refined palates, so I don't.
Yeah, but I like this.
But I
This is
like
the
it.
way it's supposed to taste.
I like it.
What do you think? Do you think does this look like a brand of promise to
I
you?
think it's a brand of promise.
I do too. I think this is a brand to watch out for. Again, if you see it somewhere in Michigan, if you're driving cross country or you stopping in San Antonio headed for Houston or back and forth, find this. I think my understanding is that the gentleman down in Houston who is the half partner has already made friends with Bobby Hugel of the Pastry War and Anvil Bar down in Houston, who is an outspoken advocate for real agave and real tequila. And he's also made friends with David Suro of Siembra Azul. So he's as young as this guy is, he's making the right kind of connections with the right kind of people. And I think people of that ilk will really appreciate this tequila.
Very
But
cool.
so I think brand of promise for for the Blanco. That's our take on Cabresto tequila. I'm Mike Morales.
I'm Alex Perez. You're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on TequilaAficionado.com, and as always, sip wisely.